I think this is the first time I've talked to the camera with this backdrop, because normally this backdrop is for like streaming, and I normally move the camera around and you see my desk behind me on videos like this. But now, I don't know, it's a new day. So another vlog today. I wanted to talk about something that I realized that I've been doing that's going to impact the channel. Although how, I'm not entirely sure. Also, fun fact, I don't know if you've noticed, but like when I do vlogs, I tend to use Undertale music. I was looking through this playlist and like 2 out of like the 5 or however many there were Undertale, and it was the same song too. So I don't know what music's gonna be playing now, but it'll be different than Undertale, probably. So what I want to talk about today is the realization that I haven't been making art for myself, and that somewhere along the way my desire to make videos and help other people get better at art and get past their, you know, their mental blocks and their sads and their negative feelings, that became my priority over improving as an artist and making an anime and an indie game. And at first blush, that doesn't sound too terrible, except for the fact that it completely killed my drive to do art for me, to the point where I used to tell myself that, you know, if I was going to practice art because I'm doing this journey of sharing what I learn as I learn it, then I might as well make a video of it. And this concept isn't entirely new, where if you make something you love your job, it stops being that thing you love. And then that becomes a problem for people like me who's trying to share that love and their lessons like as they go along. If you do something for content, it stops being the thing that you're doing. And this is true for all content creators. Like, so I got my start in film, like in school, doing journalism. So let's say, for example, you're going to a water park, right? And you're making a segment or a bit on a water park or an amusement park. And you go there and you have your camera and, you know, you're looking for content. You're not there to enjoy the water park. You're there looking for story. You're looking for narrative bits. You're looking for B-roll. You're looking for lighting. You're looking for, you know, making sure your camera's not getting wet, making sure your battery's still fine, making sure that, you know, that the structure that you laid out in your pre-production is going to actually make it into post. You're looking into edits. You're thinking about what music could be playing. You're thinking about transitions. You're thinking about so many different things while you're in this amusement park that you're not really present or enjoying the amusement park. And that same sort of mentality applies for art, because art and my journey is my content. So when I'm drawing, I'm thinking, okay, what is the narrative here? What's the story? What can I share? What's the music that's going to be playing? You know, what is this going to be engaging? Because I believe, and I think many other people believe, art streams are boring. Art streams aren't very fun to watch. You know, you put them up, you watch them, maybe, but you mostly have them on in the background or like as a secondary monitor, and they're almost always, you know, always lo-fi beats to study to, and they're kind of depressing. And if the person's drawing anime, then, you know, it's also kind of horny because it's anime. And it's this next realization that was like the most sobering, because I thought, mentally, my perception of myself was, you know what, that's okay. I'm okay, and I'm strong enough, and I'm self-assured enough to be able to have people watch me on my journey and being vulnerable and sharing what I learn as I learn it. And, you know, people disagreeing with me or telling me that I'm wrong, or, you know, like I can accept and receive help from strangers and people younger than me, or like whatever. I'm okay with that and sharing it as I go. But the reality is that always being watched and always having art that's made for other people to either critique or to help them is a lot of pressure. And the irony of that I hate is that my entire brand is supposed to be able to celebrate imperfection and celebrate sucking, and that it's okay to suck, and that it's okay if it takes a long time to get good at art, and it's okay if, you know, it's hard. And that's what I've tried to do, and that's what I really sincerely believe. But the problem is that I want to celebrate art imperfections perfectly. I want to celebrate sucking perfectly, right? Like my perfectionism just slips into the brand, because now I want to represent that brand as best I can. And then the cherry on top of all of this is If your brand is authenticity and being yourself and sharing what you learn as you learn it and, you know, celebrating imperfections and all of that, where does the line between that brand and you come into play? Like, all the way, you're right back to parasocial relationships. And it's this huge mess, and it's hard to know where I end and Embodied Josh begins, and what do I keep for myself, and what do I share out there, and every single thing that I do seems to be available to you, the viewer. And again, I wish I could handle that level of exposure and transparency, but it's a lot of pressure because I don't want to look like an idiot. Even though I say that I celebrate being an idiot and I celebrate being bad at art, I don't want to be perceived that way, right? So there's like some dissonance there of like, okay, I can make art that sucks, but I don't want to make it suck that bad. I only want it to suck like this much. Like, the act of all this can be summed up basically is, how transparent do you be online? Where's the line between you and your brand? When your brand is supposed to be you and you're supposed to be authentic because it's 2021. What is that? So all of that to say, I realized the last couple days that I need to make art that's just for me, that nobody sees, that I don't post, or if I do post it, it'll be like years later. And even saying that now, it feels so contrary to what I've been trying to do for the past 4 years, 3 years, because it's like, well, okay, so then if I don't show things, then how will I share my journey as I'm on it? Because that is by default hiding parts of my journey from you. So I feel like I'm betraying you. And by you, I mean like the 5, 7 people, 20 people, right? Like, it's not like I'm super famous, right? But it's like, but I care. The people who watch, I care, even if that's a small number. So it's like, it feels like almost dishonest of like, I'm sharing what I learn as I learn it, but I'm not sharing so many things with you. But I do think, and I mean, saying this out loud, it maybe sounds obvious in hindsight, but I think that keeping some things for myself that I don't share with the internet, that I don't share on my journey with you, is okay, and arguably like healthy and good, and that I can still share what I learn as I learn it. It just won't be as much of like a stream of consciousness vibe as it has been, because I need to keep some of that consciousness for myself, and I have to be able to fall in love with art again and separate art from content, so that I can genuinely mean that if YouTube never existed, or I never made content about my art at all, would I still be doing it? If you never knew I existed, would I still be doing art if nobody knew? And presently, it's difficult for me to make art if I'm not going to make content out of it. And that's really sad. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. So I want to get back to that. So all of that to say, how will that impact the channel? All I know is I want to be able to draw for me again, and I will share whatever I want from that. So I guess this is me with you, the viewer, establishing boundaries. What a trip this has been. So hey, here's some new boundaries, channel. I'm still, obviously, like, I care a lot about being honest. I care a lot about being transparent. I care a lot about being vulnerable, and I care a lot about fighting the stigma that you have to be perfect or you have to be an art god to share what you learn on the internet. I don't want that to be the case. But having a stream of consciousness and sharing every single thing you create artistically automatically puts a lot of pressure on the things that you create. And just like that water park example, it stops being art and it starts being content. And I need to reclaim some of that content and put it back to art and keep it as art. And still have a section for content, but I need to have a part that's just art. That's just for me. And I think that maybe I'm not alone in this. Maybe not everybody has a YouTube channel, but everybody typically has a social media. So if you feel this way and it's making you not want to do art, I don't know. Is anybody as weird as me? I don't know. Maybe the advice is just carve off and do art for yourself. I don't feel like you have to post everything to social media. And I think that's healthy. Gosh, that's so obvious. Anybody could tell you that. Oh, don't post everything you make to social media. That's what I did. All right, hey, thanks for watching. I don't know. I hope this helped you, I guess. Gosh, this is scary. Don't hate me. Please don't hate me. Anyway. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Talk to you guys later.